and welcome to Diecast Restos. My name's Jason and this is Matchbox's 28C Jaguar Mark 10. It was in the series from 1964 to 1968. This example has been repainted white, covering not only the rather dull metallic brown, but also the windscreen and the tyres. Its tow hook has been lost over the years and the windscreen has been cracked, so I'll need to source a fresh one. This is a really solid casting, featuring that beautifully detailed engine. The engines were either body coloured or left unpainted metal, and looking at this I think it was left brown. The body is secured to the base with an L-shaped bracket at the front and a round rivet at the back. The Mark 10 was introduced in 1961, but in 1966 it was renamed the 420G, now featuring a vertical strip in the middle of the grille and a chrome strip along the side. This image is of a 420G model in a similar dull brown to the casting. Now I can get on with dismantling this mess, removing the rivet at the back. With the rivet edge gone, I'll show you the components of the model. After unclipping that bracket at the front, we have the base plate in reasonable condition. The plastic interior surrounds that rear rivet post. This still has the suspension piece attached, though it is looking a bit out of shape. The interior is a bit grimy and dusty, but that's to be expected of a 50-something-year-old toy. I then unclip the bonnet/hood that is secured to two prongs on either side of the casting. The reef is secured by a shallow rivet, so I grind this down with a smooth modified drill bit. Then I drill down the rear rivet post and tap that hole with an M2 screw tap. I grind the wheels off the axles, and then I have all of the components ready to lay out and photograph. Phase 1 of the cleanup is tidying the axles, removing any surface rust with some sandpaper. Next I'll wash the plastic parts in soap and water. I've just realised that I have no footage of replacing that tow hook. I bought some repro plastic hooks online and simply cut it to size and glued over the existing tab. Anyway, I'll now attempt to lose that paint from the wheels. All four wheels will be left to soak in Dettol liquid, which is an antiseptic solution that does a great job at removing paint from plastics. It does stink though, so I've sealed it up. Next, I'm using the flame from a lighter to heat and manipulate the suspension piece. It had been compressed, so it didn't work all that well, but it's already starting to look a little flatter. Now I pour hot water on the metal parts ahead of paint stripping, and then add the caustic soda. The Mark 10 was Jaguar's top-of-the-range saloon car, spanning 9 years to 1970. The Mark 10 was a much more contemporary design to its Mark 9 predecessor, carrying a distinctive grille and 4 headlight front-end design. It's a design that would be emulated in its successors for years to come. From 1961 to 1965, it had a 3.8 litre inline-6 engine, and from 1965 it was powered by a 4.2 litre unit. The Jaguar XJ6, which launched in 1968, was the 420G's replacement. Also in 1968, Daimler, owned by Jaguar since 1960, launched the DS420 Limousine, a car based entirely on the 420G with an elongated floor pan. This limousine was taller than the 420G and measured 19 feet in length and also 6 feet in width. It could seat 8 people, with 6 in the rear compartment. It was a popular choice for royalty, serving the British, Danish and Swedish royal families. It was also often used for politicians, mayors, state representatives, as well as hotels, chauffeur services and funeral directors. So I've been chipping away at the Dettol soaked wheels, and once most of the paint has gone, I give them a rinse in soap and water. Not least to get rid of the antiseptic smell. On goes Tamiya light grey fine surface primer as an undercoat prior to painting brown later on. I love the engine detail. As I've said already, this is a fine casting. The base and bonnet also get a thin coat. That's looking much better. Those cleaned wheels are going to glow again after drowning in Citadel. Now the base gets a single layer of TS14 black. And here's all the footage I managed to get of painting the body brown. Camera batteries. But here it is once I've applied the paint and realised it hadn't recorded. I also applied Pearl Clear TS65 off camera to get a slight metallic finish. I didn't record that as it's dull as dishwater to watch clear coat going on. So, reassembly time. I tap the wheels onto the axles, onto the base, and then chrome up those axle ends. The casting also benefited from silver trim on the front bumper, as well as the headlights and grille. I opt to give the engine a chrome coating as well, to make it really stand out. That's looking much nicer than being left unpainted or just brown. Then I do the headlights. And here's some of the grille and other two lights being filled in. So now to put all the parts back together again. First I put the reproduction windscreen in. I've already placed the interior in here, but then I stick on the straightened suspension piece. Lastly, the base is attached at the bracket end first. And then over the rear rivet. The 3mm screw is then attached to complete this build. So here's a look at how we started off. It was ugly, smothered in white paint. It had a broken windscreen and a broken tow hook too. A model as gorgeous as this deserves better. So I replaced all the broken parts and gave it a new coat of paint. And this is how the unjaunty Jag now looks. It's barely recognisable as the same car. The TS90 brown combined with the TS65 pearl clear is a close match to the original paint shade. The new window unit fits nicely, while the new tow hook serves its purpose. I'd love to do a Resto Plus with the rear details highlighted, but alas, this is roughly how they came out of the Lesney factory. Take a look under the hood at the end credits, and while you're there, be sure to hit that subscribe button and support the channel on Patreon if you can. A link to my Patreon as well as my regularly updated Instagram is in the description below. That leaves me to say thanks for watching, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.